Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of East Got Game, where we give you the X's, the O's, and the insights of NBL 1 East. Thanks for joining us live on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. And remember, you can follow us on those platforms at East Got Game, or you can continue to find our episodes on your preferred streaming platforms. And while you're there, well, I would say check out Cut to the Jace podcast, but they are currently on a 1 month break as of today. But you could still go back and listen to their previous episodes, as well as episodes of It's a Cole World, a podcast by WNBL champion Beck Cole, both brought to you by basketball.com.au. Mr. 150 is in the house.
Hi, Squin. Yes, it was my 150th NBL 1 East game on Saturday night, the men's game. Jeez, that was quite the game to have for a 150th.
Oh my gosh, outstanding. Congratulations. 150 games commentating NBL 1. Is that just East or does that include Nationals too?
That's just East.
Wow. So including Nationals, it's like 150, 160.
Because I got the 2 games of the wildcard series from that thing COE did a few years ago. And then I think 9 Nationals games, including the 2 sideline gigs. So
that's a lot. Geez, I would love to find someone in the league that would rival that 150.
Oh, James Milan, easy, because he did 3 clubs for a while.
Yeah.
I think James was true. 20. Last time we compared, James was like 20 clear of me. So
really?
Yeah.
Jeez. Wow. And speaking of, I have to say a big thank you to James for filling in for me again last week while I was on international duties. He, does a great job as always very well prepared. So thanks heaps for filling in. Remember to go and follow Waratah on VCR on Instagram and on YouTube. But Lockie, you've come up clutch again tonight, mate. Tonight's episode is going to be slightly different from regular programming. Instead of covering discussion points and an East Got game of the week, we're going to get right stuck into the finals matchups.
Yes, we are, and it's spicy. It's going to be. These finals matchups. Some of them have just fallen absolutely beautifully.
I know. Who writes this script because they need a pay rise?
Legit.
The one thing I found interesting for both the men's and women's finals matchups in this, qualifying elimination finals is that all teams. Okay, so there's 8 matchups altogether. Mm-hmm. Only 2 of the 8 matchups are between teams who have played each other twice in the regular season. Everyone else has only played once against each other.
I feel like something like that happened last year, either with the men's or the women's. Maybe not with both, but yeah, wow.
Yeah, I thought was really, really interesting. Mm-hmm. But as you said, the matchups itself are super interesting. Before we get stuck into it, we will just also say congratulations to the under-17 Sapphires who won a bronze medal at the recent U17 Women's Basketball World Cup in Czechia. Lots of COE members in that particular team. Olivia Aleknowitz was named in the all-second team and defensive player of the tournament. My God, can she take some physicality on the offensive end?
Oh, she is. I'm not going to say she's going to be something special. She is something special.
She thrives in that FIBA style of physicality. She's so strong, just mentally tough, always finds a way to finish. Herself and Isabel Smith, who's also played for the COE and NBL 1 East, were, part of the big 3 with Maddie Ryan. Super impressive from that team.
100%.
And of course, congratulations to Tom Garlop, who's the NBL 1 North men's coach, who was also coach of that team to get them to the bronze medal.
Yes, 100%. Our first medal for the Sapphires in 8 years.
I
think I saw.
I think you're right, actually. I think you're right. I'm going to quickly have a quick look, but also, sorry, also have to extend the congratulations to Tracy Peacock, who I think is normally the Canberra Nationals manager, and she went over as manager for the Sapphires.
There we go. East connections all over the shop, including on the commentary team, Squin. Congratulations on yet another FIBA event, a World Cup. So congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I did the men's and the women's U17 basketball World Cups this year. I think it's my 4th or 5th year in a row. Look, mate, I don't know why they keep getting me back, but they do. Every time I hear, well, I don't know, man. Every time I hear my voice on one of those replays, I cringe. But I've started to get some great feedback on the YouTube comments. I've got some fans now around the world. So if they like it and if FIBA like it, so be it.
Exactly.
But you're right. The Sapphires haven't won a medal at the U17 since 2018, where they had a bronze in Belarus. And then 2016, that's when they won gold in Spain.
My favorite team.
Your favorite team ever.
Yes.
But yeah, was there anything else from around the ground that we should give a shout out to before we get stuck into this finals preview?
I was just thinking about this. Has Jaz Shelley ever lost an NBL 1 regular season game? Because she's been undefeated the last 2 seasons. She played half a season in Ballarat before that, and I don't think she lost a regular season game there before they lost to Keilor in the semis. And before that, she was in college. Is she 50-something and 0 in NBL 1 regular season games?
That is an excellent point again. I mean, I would trust your brain with this stuff. I'm going to have a quick look now.
I'm just thinking, like...
Yeah, 12 games for Ballarat.
I couldn't find her on the team sheet in a loss because she only played the back half of the season when she got back from college at Ballarat.
Yeah.
So, Jazz, if you're listening, or anyone who can confirm, has Jaz Shelley ever lost an NBL 1 regular season game in 2.5 years?
That's incredible. 2024 season, and she played 12 games. Okay, I can't do this now, but we'll definitely look into that. Because I think you're onto something there for sure.
Because, yeah, I originally wrote down the note, she hasn't lost a game since 2024. And I was like, wait, did she lose a game in 2024?
Probably not.
Yeah, or at least in regular season, but yeah.
All right, cool. So, yeah, today's episode, we're going to, I guess, preview is the right way to say it, preview or talk about the upcoming finals matchups, because we are now into the finals phase of the season, starting off with the qualifying finals and the elimination finals. So essentially 1 plays 4. The winner will go straight through of 1 and 4, goes straight through to the preliminary final. 5 plays 6, and then the winner, 5 plays 8. The 8 looks like a 6. 5 plays 8. The winner of that matchup will go on to play the loser of 1v4. Similarly, on the other end of the table, we've got 2 versus 3. The winner of that will go through to the preliminary final. And then the loser will play the winner of 6 versus 7th. And then the semifinals will be, you know, whoever. The 1 winner, 1 loser, 1 winner, 1 loser. And whoever wins those games will play the winners of these qualifying finals.
Yes.
If that doesn't make sense, which understandably it may not, the way I rambled about it, there is a very good diagram on the NBL 1 East Instagram page that explains it beautifully.
It is. It's a very good visual aid. And look, basically, it's the same as the footy finals, whether you're NRL or AFL. It's the same as the footy finals.
Yeah. The footy's good for something. I joke. There's lots of good things about the footy. But yeah, would you like to do the men's or women's matchups first?
I reckon let's start with the men's matchups.
While the bracket is up. Okay, so first matchup in the qualifying finals is between first and fourth, which is the Illawarra men versus the Manly Warringah Sea Eagles. According to my notes, they've only played once in this regular season, which was round 11, and Manly won. It did not write the score.
It was 82-77, and it was only a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it was a start of a kind of few weeks in the league where things started happening, you know. Manly defeated Illawarra, then Sutherland defeated Illawarra and Manly and North, and suddenly the top of the table doesn't look quite as clean as it did. And that Manly v Illawarra result was probably the one that jammed everything up to start with before Sutherland went on their tear.
Could you say that was the big catalyst for the change in the league, that one win?
A little bit. It tightened everything up. It prevented Illawarra from, they got first in the end anyway, but prevented them from streaking right ahead in the final stages of the season.
In that particular game, Manly won 3 of the 4 quarters by 1 point, 3 points, and 6 points. So that definitely, so they were able to get ahead, essentially, and kind of stay ahead, which was pretty impressive. Slazinski had 23 points, 9 rebounds at 40% overall from the field. And for the Hawks, you had Kone with 19 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. Blanchfield had 24, 5, 3, and 2 steals. And Peatling had 17 points and 14 rebounds, which I think half of his rebounds were actually offensive rebounds, which I found interesting.
Yeah, especially...
You go.
I was saying, especially considering he's up against Emmanuel Shimunga, and Shimunga has plenty of height on Peatling. So very interesting that he picked up all those rebounds. But Manly in that game had 5 players in double figures, including Jack Giddens and Jamie Munro, who are good players, but role players in that team, alongside Quinn, Isaiah Lee, and Shimunga. So, Manly got it done by committee against Illawarra. It really was the big 3 just stepping up. Three of the big 4 if you don't count Matt Mims there.
Yeah, because what did Mims have that game again? I don't think he had his most prolific game of the season compared to what we've seen.
No, those 3 combined for 60 points and they only scored 77. So
Mims had 5 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. But not his best shooting day, but he was on for the full 40 minutes. So he was obviously still contributing in other ways you can't see on the stat sheet.
Yeah, he's always controlling the team and, controlling the offense very well. As we've noted on multiple occasions throughout the season, his ability to control the offense and score is something that he's really been unlocked with losing Kobe McDowell-White, who's also having quite a successful season, going undefeated in NBL 1 North. So it's worked out for everybody.
That Joel Kalu effect. This was the game too where Manly, as I mentioned, they won 3 of the 4 quarters. They won the third quarter 17-11. So being able to hold a team like Illawarra to 11 points in a quarter is pretty outstanding. Illawarra bounced back and had 26 in the fourth, but obviously just wasn't enough to clinch the win. Some of the stats that stuck out for me, 3-point percentage was pretty low for both teams. Manly only shot at 28% from the 3, and Hawks only shot at 20% from the free.
And that's from the 2 best 3-point shooting teams in the league. They both shoot over 35% as a team this season. So very interesting that, it was a down day for both. And they're also, they're both pretty good at preventing oppositions from shooting the 3, but not to that level, especially against a really good 3-point shooting teams that they are. When you got players like, Slazinski and Mims out there, you'd expect the shooting to be pretty high on just about every occasion.
I mean, Sweet Chili Philly had next to the best 3-point percentage he had 2 from 5, and Todd Blanchfield had 4 from 10. They were both 40% apiece. So when Sweet Chili Philly is racking up some threes, that's got to be helpful at least to try and boost the rest of the team's confidence when you're having not a very good shooting day.
Yeah, but I mean, but the rest of the starting lineup, apart from Blanchfield, went 2 of 19 for the game, which isn't too crash hot. They are fair play to them though. 19 of 22 at the charity stripe, so it's going to be happy with that one.
Yes, I did write down that stat. 86.36%, very healthy. But Manly also had 11 from 15. So I thought it was really interesting that Hawks had stats like they got to the foul line more often. They had 16 offensive rebounds to Manly's 10. And but yeah, really poor 3-point shooting day and game over. And like you said, Manly winning by committee. So I would expect that Manly would have a very similar game plan coming into this, making sure that as many people contribute as possible.
Yeah, definitely. And they're going to have, you can't rely on Kone and Mims going 2 of 13 combined again. So they're going to have to be well and truly locked in on that. Whether or not Mims is racking up assists. I mean, he's just coming off 10 threes in his last game. So he's definitely found his shooting form. So they're going to have to definitely be all over him because, I mean, we talked about it. James and I talked about it. Like, he's just pulling up from 30 feet and draining them. It's just like, it's not a bailout shot either. It actually changes how you can defend this Illawarra team if Matt Mims is hitting threes. So they're going to have to be really all over him. I also think Shamanga will be big in this game. There in the middle against, probably against Peatling, who he has the big height advantage, but Peatling's got all that NBL experience and he ripped down 14 rebounds and had 17 points in the last game. But
yeah,
it's they got to go into the snake pit as well, Manly. That's never easy, especially in finals.
Yeah, totally. It's and it's the snake pit's interesting because it doesn't have a lot of room around the court. Like, it feels like the grandstand is essentially built like on the court and built upwards. So when you're playing on the court, you can feel the crowd really kind of enveloping you into that space. So that's going to create a really fun atmosphere if you're a Hawks fan. But yeah, feel like the crowd is going to be on top of you if you're a Manly player. But some people really like that though. Some people thrive on that.
And crowd on top of you, those people hanging over the barrier at the bar will literally be almost on top of you.
Yeah. I imagine that would be the best seat in the house.
Yes.
But some of the matchups, I'm expecting Isaiah Lee, who's a very good defender, probably one of the top defenders in the men's competition. He's going to be on Mims, I imagine.
Yeah.
Do you think Slazinski's going to be tasked with being that ultimate two-way player of having to take Blanchfield and, be a primary scorer?
It's not what I wrote down, but I really just listed by position. He might have to be. That could be a ding-dong battle. I wouldn't be surprised to see. Yeah, now that you've said it, I do think it could be the way it goes. Just find a way to shut down Blanche. You've talked me into it. Didn't take much, but you've talked me into it. Yeah, the more I keep thinking about it, I think that, Blanchfield and Slazinski could just be the battle. I think Blanchfield's probably the best matchup against Slazinski for Illawarra as well defensively. Just the two big athletic guys who can do it all, going toe to toe. I don't think they'll I don't think they'll neutralize each other. They'll try, they might cancel out each other's impact a little bit, but I'm not going to say it'll come down to it, but between that and the Mims versus Isaiah Lee battle, if either team can win both of those, enjoy your week off. We'll see you in the prelim.
Yeah. And then great opportunity for the rest of the other role players to just do the right things, get to the right spots, set the right screens, throw the right passes, making sure we box out all of those things that can sometimes, there'll be so many eyes and so much pressure on the big three of either of those teams that it's a great opportunity for the role players to come and fill in the gaps. That's what finals time is all about.
Yeah. And your rotations get smaller, so your role players suddenly play a little bit more. And these teams, they do have a lot of good role players. Like when you think of Judah Kami starts a bit, or Ethan Moss, depending on how it works. I think last week for Illawarra against Sutherland, like 2 rounds ago, I think they basically split the 40. It was almost either Kami or Moss were on, and very rarely both. And then you got guys like Giddens and Munro and Valkovic for Manly Warringah. These are teams that are built on having big names and then really good role players. I mean, you already mentioned Phil Illawarra, Phil DePuge. So, I mean, he had 18 minutes for 8 points last time these teams played, and Fletcher McDonald's in there for Illawarra. He started with Peatling out against Sutherland, so he's been a handy addition for them too.
Very good. And just quickly before we move on, James OD Photography, as everyone knows, James in the East, is asking if Jacinta's coming back for East Grand Final on her home court. I didn't even think of that. That's very tempting. It would be a really good vibe down there at
Would you even need a
stadium.
Just come in and say, "Do you know who I am?" And just walk in.
No, I don't know, man.
Do you know who my mum is?
I mean, that's probably more likely going to get me in the door for free. I was at Crew last round when they played Newcastle, and Hamish and I were back on the mic together to commentate the Crusaders women and Newcastle women. And I got to the front door, and it was 2 women that I've known my whole life. And I said, "Hey, I'm just back to commentate the game." They're like, "Oh, okay, I guess you don't have to pay." I was like, well, I'm also the guest of a Life member, and it's Life members around. So there's also that. Thank you. Goodbye. So yeah, we'll see, James. That's a pretty cool idea. I might have to see if I can get maybe a cheap flight or something for the day. But yeah, I didn't really think of it. But anyway, speaking of Crew, should we roll on to the next matchup?
The 5th v8 game?
Yeah, the first of the elimination.
Yes.
Yeah, so COE plays 5th, Crusaders plays 8th. Oh my gosh. Crusaders placing 8th is history for the men's side. It's the first time they've qualified for finals since it's been NBL 1 East officially. It was very tense, them making it, because they were under the impression they had to beat Newcastle at home to make finals, and then they lost. Goliath Cato was just outstanding. And also, whoever gave him a shout out on the Waratah for VCR Instagram stories about which East player should get in the NBL, good shout out.
Yeah.
Cato, big fan now, despite. So Crusaders were devastated after losing to Newcastle. They were like, "Oh, we're out. That's it. Season's over." And then there were some other results in the round, and then we're like, "You just got to go to Albury and win by as many as possible." And here they are. History made.
They did it, yeah. Crew won, and Newcastle lost, and everyone else lost. Well, everyone else. Once Crew won, it only mattered what Newcastle did, and they lost. They almost got over Maitland. Did the Newcastle men? It was scary. A few heart palpitations. I had. We'll get to the women's later, but poor Hornsby. My goodness me.
Yeah, that's we'll hold on to that because that's a bit devastating. But yeah, so this 5th versus 8th, COE Crusaders. Again, they've only faced each other once this season in round 6, where the COE won 96-74.
No, they
However,
played it. No, they played twice. They played on June 13th as well.
Did they? Did I miss that one?
And Crew got up in that one, 98-83.
Oh, how could I forget? Blasphemous. Yeah. So that means then there's 3 of the 8 matchups that actually have played twice. But yeah, so that's good. So they're 1-1. Given that you actually looked at the fixtures properly, was there much difference in the roster of COE between the first outing and the second? Because I know that since the first outing, there's a couple of people that may not be there.
Yeah, now. It's interesting. My first note is who's even turning up for the COE in this game, because, well, it's not just well, I mean, last time, like when I got a proper look at the COE against Sutherland, that was their the week before World Cup, so they actually only turned up with 6. At least for this game, they had 10. But the first time they played, they had Dickerson, they had Pavley. I think those are the only 2 that were there that weren't in the second game. Yes, correct. Yeah. So, yeah, in that first game, Dickerson had 11 points and 4 assists, and Pavley only played 12 minutes, which is interesting. But yeah, so that was the only real difference in that game. Luke Paul came off the bench, and he started in the second game. J.K. Mack came off the bench in the second game, but came off the bench in the first game, started in the second game. So there's a bit of change there. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see, who's actually going to suit up for the COE in this game. If it's anything like the roster for the second game, then, there's still a red hot chance. But who knows? People seem to, people are continuing to leave the league for college. Like Bailey MacArthur's gone in a week or 2 from Sutherland. Rebecca Donnelly won't be here for the entire finals for North, I'm pretty sure. There's probably others that I just haven't heard about. So, yeah, it'll be very interesting to see, because Crew, well, before their 3-loss streak that took them from final certainties to waiting till the final day, they were one of the form teams of the competition.
Yeah, totally. And I guess as well, the other difference for Crusaders from their first outing to the second outing against COE is that they had Garrick Young on the second outing. So he was still injured when they first played COE in round 6. And the likes of Aaron Redhead stepped up and had 26 points and 5 rebounds, which included 5 from 9 from the arc. But that game in round 6, COE had 39 free throws. I can't recall a game that's had so many free throws. They were 32 from 39 from the line. So 32 of their 96 points was just from the free throw line. That's literally a third.
That is. And it wasn't even a close game where you're failing to stop the clock late on and giving up like 6 free throws in the final minute to pad the stat. 2 of 19 from 3-point land. But as you said, made up for it with 32 or 39 from the line. 28 fouls by Crew.
Yeah. Yeah. They still had, I think, 17 from 25 from free throws. But when COE is shooting at 82% from the free throw line, like, do not foul that team.
That's
like, you would rather risk them making a layup and be like a chump at social comp and do the clapping or something behind them when you run after them. But either way, they're going to make it. Like, that's tough. 39 free throws.
Yeah. And in all that, big Aaron Redhead played 32 minutes without fouling in a game where his team fouled 28 times.
For a guy, like, as respectfully as I can say, this is sometimes foul prone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they had the third of their points from the free throw line, and 56 out of 96 of their points were from inside the paint. which is 88 points, leaving only 8 points to be made up
Like of
elsewhere.
mid-ranges. Or two
Yeah.
threes and one mid-ranger.
And a mid-range.
Hey, at COE, it's all about threes and layups. We know that. And if the threes aren't hitting, it's got to be all layups.
Goodness me, that was some outstanding stats. But it must have been literally 1 3, or it must have literally been 2 threes.
It
For
was,
COE, 10.53% from the 3, which is woeful.
Yeah.
But Crew shot 41%
Yeah.
from 3. So that's a plus.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really turned it around when they played again for the second time. Garrick Young was back. He had 30 points, 7 rebounds, shooting at 53% overall. Maker was in the mix. He had 18, 13, 3, 3, and 2. So like doing a bit of everything. He shot at 55% from the floor. And Tommy Acker, he had 17, 4, 4, and 4. However, he is now in a boot.
He's in a boot.
Yes.
That's
when
not
I was
good.
for the game against Newcastle, he's in the boot. Arguably having his best season I think I've seen him play. Unfortunately, in a boot.
Well, that sucks. Yeah, we saw Ryan Abbott in a boot this week as well for Sutherland, but sounds like it's more precautionary than anything. So hopefully he's back. He's back soon. If not for this game, Sutherland has still got the second chance. But yeah, Tommy in a boot. That's like it sucks for Tommy because he was playing really well. But it's tough. It's going to be tough for Crew to make that up because he's been putting up good numbers all season. What's he? He's averaging 12 points per game. Yeah, shooting at a reasonable clip as well. Yeah.
And I believe Saipea hasn't been on the roster for a few weeks now, so I'm not expecting him to come back either.
No, so I guess it's going to be as the team was in recent weeks.
Yeah. So, however, and for COE though, I think they'll have a similar roster. The difference being is that they're now also also won a bronze medal at a world championship. So they're going to be coming with that experience under their belt, which is definitely going to give them an edge. Hamish, our boy Hamish, the voice of the Central Coast Crusaders, says that Crew is coming for the title, baby.
Oh, no, we don't got player news. We've just got absolute confidence in his team. Crew is coming for the title. All right.
Coming for the title. He's been going for that home final.
Wasn't Callum Jenkins' famous tip at Central Coast? That was the James and I were talking about last week. Wasn't it the first time a host team had ever won the men's NBA Waratah Championship?
Now, Lockie, I refer to that moment in sporting history as the touch of God. It was literally...
And not just because of his haircut.
That's what adds to it, because he has the Jesus beard, the Jesus stature, the Jesus haircut. He swans in on the buzzer and tips it in to win or at home, and it just the roof blew off the place. I immediately started crying, like unconsciously. The tears just started to flow. It was incredible, and I think it maybe was the first time a home team won the grand final. This was pre-NBL 1, of course. They beat Manly. Manly were up in arms about it. They were still talking about it for months after. People were trying to put up the footage and say it shouldn't have counted. It was great.
How good?
How good?
It was great. I remember exactly where I was. I was standing in the bar above the stadium looking directly from the opposite baseline at it happen.
Yeah. Oh, it happened at the...
No, sorry. Looking down. Yeah. Yeah. I was at the bar looking down at it happen. Yeah.
I remember exactly where I was standing as well for that moment. Incredible. But yeah, so I think from this Crew and COE 1-1 against each other, very high scoring quarter as well in the second time they played against each other, when the Crusaders won 31-26 in quarter 1. Third quarter was 32-22. So I imagine it's going to be a very fast-paced game because Crew love to play fast. They had
Crew
five.
do play fast, yeah.
They love to play fast. The Crew brand of basketball, men and women, is kind of stops and run. They had 5 players in double figures. They managed to keep Luke Paul to 3 points in that particular game, but Jack Nyon had 24 and 9. Hamilton had 18 and 6. And Antonio Brown had 3, 5, and 5 and 3. I think I'm expecting a bigger game, obviously, from Luke Paul, All-Star 5 from the U17s, but also Antonio Brown. Like, I think everyone, understandably, people like to talk about Luke Paul comparing to Josh Giddey. I see it. He's got great court vision for a 16-year-old, but Antonio Brown needs to get his flowers too.
100%. Back to the pace thing just for a second. It's going to be massive for COE to make their shots because they play with some of the slowest pace in the league. Crew are number 1 and COE are at 14th. So if you want to slow Crew down, you're going to have to put the ball in the basket.
That is very interesting and very surprising that COE, the youngest and the freshest of the legs, should be the quickest. Well, not really, but you would expect them to be a lot quicker than that, especially that COE style of play where it's either all layups or all threes.
Yeah, 14th for pace according to our official stats we get from the league each week. Yeah, 80.1 possessions per game. Crew 86. So that's a significant difference.
Yeah, that really is. So hopefully each coach will listen to this and pick up on that and do what you will. Also, Crew committed 22 turnovers in that first outing. And in the second game, they only committed 15, which is much better. And they forced COE to commit 28. So Antonio Brown, as much as I was singing his praises, he had 9 of the 28 turnovers.
It was almost not a complete reversal, but 31 free throw attempts to 12 in the second game. So Crew certainly turned things around there.
And maybe that's reflective of that pace too. Yeah. So, but however, Crew have to travel. How much do you think COE at the AIS Arena or the AIS training hall is going to be a factor for this game, or do you think it's not really a thing?
I don't know. Like it's one of those things where I think it's almost the inverse of the snake pit, where we were just talking about the snake pit's going to be rowdy as hell. The AIS is not. Is that going to make it harder to get up for the game in general because there's just not as much energy? And I mean, I know players are always like, every game's a game. Doesn't matter where I play, I'm going to get up for it. But unconsciously, it can be an unconscious thing where there's just no energy in the building or not as much energy in the building. And obviously, the AIS training hall, they're not going to get as many people there. But it could go one of two ways. There's no one cheering the COE, or not as many people cheering the COE on, so Central Coast come in there and, don't feel any kind of, anyone's against them kind of thing, or there's no energy in the building and it's harder to get up for the game. So how well Central Coast can create their own energy might be a big part of it. But it's also Central Coast's first trip to the finals in however long in either league. So they got plenty to be up for. There's going to be guys like Redhead, like Cassidy, who are going to be drilling into these newer guys, like, we're doing this for the coast kind of thing.
And I'm pretty sure Crew are organising a supporters bus.
How good.
Yeah, so I think Crew are going to be...
Get the pull-out bleachers out down at the training hall for the Crew fans.
Yep. So, and they're rowdy. They are rowdy. So I think Crew are going to be taking at least one supporters bus. I mean, it'd be cool if the other COE AIS athletes could turn up for this game as well, make a bit of an atmosphere, unless some of the other Canberra fans, like from the Gunners or Nationals, will go and watch too. if there's no clash in the draw.
Oh, it's 4 p.m. at COE, and then Gunners are 7:30 at Tuggies.
Perfect. Plenty of time to watch both games and go to Kingsley's Chicken on the way to Tuggerah. Perfect.
Although you're the Canberra local of sorts, though.
Of sorts, yeah. It's been a while. All right, and obviously we're not really tipping each team either. We're just going through. Nah, we can't do that.
No. I also one thing I think worth mentioning is the form of Garrick Young just overall. I mean, you mentioned he's 30 points in the most recent matchup, but he also won Player of the Week this week, so he is on an absolute tear. And he and Maker have both been really consistent throughout the season. Their scoring averages, whether Crew win or lose, are very similar. So no matter what the occasion, no matter what the game, no matter what the opponent, you can expect both of them to turn up.
Yeah, let's try and keep them as well for next season, Crew, if we can have a team next season. The end. Because there is the Crew in financial trouble.
Oh.
Yeah, they're 150K in the hole.
Yikes.
And they have till August to get it back.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is public knowledge, so I'm not kind of...
Okay.
Speaking ill. Yeah. It's out there.
Okay.
Out there. Yeah, so they got a lot to play for. Yeah. Now the next elimination final, when we spoke earlier about whoever wrote the script of NBL 1 East season 4 needs a pay rise. Canberra Gunners, Maitland Mustangs, elimination final.
Yeah, elimination final. Wow.
Good Lord. Like, not even a qualifier, not even someone gets a second chance, whatever. Elimination. The end.
Yep. The
Jesus
end.
Christ. What I don't, it's a game where I just want to watch it and be totally invested, but it's also a game I don't want to watch because I'll be too nervous.
Okay, that is fair. That is fair.
Because like when my mum used to watch Rafa in the tennis, she would watch him and feel like then he was playing badly because she was watching, so she wouldn't watch and just watch the replay the next day, and then he'd won.
Chris from Sutherland doesn't watch the men's games. He was part of the crew for the Sutherland North game, and he said during the last draw I went out into the other room and let Scott deal with everything.
Yeah, he's like, bye, I can't.
Yeah, and like when it's away games, he'll drive down with Marilyn because she's team manager, his wife, and then he'll go to Macca's or go to the pub and work on something during the game and then come back. He can't do it.
Love that. Love that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Canberra, Maitland, elimination. The rivalry continues. They have only played each other once this season. And it was round 3. It was a year ago in round 3. And when the Gunners won on the buzzer with that 3-point shot in the corner from James Toohey. It's like, write a better script.
Oh, you couldn't.
So in that outing, in round 3, Gunners, each team had full roster. The Gunners closed out the fourth quarter, winning at 13-21, which we know the Gunners are generally pretty good at closing out games. Mayfield only had 20% from the field. Parsons had 21-7. Sherry had 19-19. Mayfield still had 22 points and 9 rebounds despite the 20% from the field. Hoskins Jr. and Morrison, though, were very quiet. Gunners only had 5 assists for the game.
Is that legit?
5 assists.
5 assists.
Maitland had 14 assists. However, Maitland shot 4.73% from the 3-point line.
One
Gunners
of
shot 12.
21. One of 20-something. Or 2 of 40-something. Hope it was 1 of 20-something and not 2 of 40-something.
Yeah, I think your instinct to the former is more accurate.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Yeah, wow.
Gunners only shot 12%.
Yeah, wow. I remember it was not a good shooting night for for either team. And I mean, as you'd probably expect from a game that finished 75-73 between these two teams, it's from teams that put up pretty gaudy offensive, for teams that, they both have pretty good offensive ratings and play at a reasonable pace. So, not pretty.
Our favorite photographer from Maitland, Jacob, has said in the Instagram live, we don't talk about that game.
Well, sorry, but someone's got to. Sorry, mate.
Sorry, buddy, but we got to revisit it. So Gunners 12% from 3-point line. Gunners had 16 second chance points and 18 points from the bench, and that was a bit of an edge as well over Maitland. But wow, there's some making up to do and some rivalries to keep fueling. Again, this is our heated rivalry of NBL 1 East.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see either team shooting the three ball that badly. I don't see Cranston, Lown, and Rain Smith combining here 0 of 13. I don't see Darnell Hoskins playing 10 minutes for 4 points. Cam Pender had 8 points and 7 rebounds in 20 minutes, but a lot's changed since then because the Brindabella Beacon currently has a scaffold on him. He's the last time I saw him, he was, I don't know. Last time I saw him, he was on crutches. I haven't been able to point him, scope him out since. But but he didn't play last week, and in that game he was 4 of 12 from the field, but he still had 10 points and 9 rebounds, and just his presence in general is literally and figuratively massive.
Especially going up against someone like Miles Cherry, who was just like textbook center.
I mean, that's your old school center. Love to watch it match up in this league.
I still remember there was one season, maybe it was the 2023 season, where he had shot maybe, I think about 98% of his shots were from inside the paint all season. I think he shot 2 shots the whole season. At like
he was shooting him at like 60-something% or whatever as well.
Yeah. The guy knows what he's good at, and he's very good at it, and he sticks to it. And I love that. Like, no notes.
No, why not?
That's as easy as it needs to be.
Yeah.
This game, man, it's gonna be a hell of a game. I think it's probably, of the 4 games in the men's competition, I think that was, if I had to only choose one game to watch of the 4, it would be that one. Purely because what's riding on it, the history, and the context of how each team really didn't perform their best in lots of ways in the last time that they played. And the last time they played was like months ago.
Yeah.
A long time ago, and a lot has changed since then. I think that would be the one.
Yeah, 100%. Tuggies is going to be pumping for that game.
Yeah. But what have you got some more notes about this matchup?
I mean, speaking of Glenn, the Gunners went 7-3 without him and 5-5 without, which I did find interesting. I don't think this, it was a very close game. I think it's going to be a very close game again. These teams are just so, they play almost identical pace. One team, Maitland are slightly more up there on the offensive side, but Canberra more up there on the defensive side. But they're like, they're like two people who dislike each other because they're so similar and they don't realize it.
Yeah. It's like you're either going to be best friends or worst enemies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to be.
It's going to be. Yeah. And they just, some of these shooters that both teams know they have, just need to come out and start hitting some shots. Because I don't think either team's really shot the 3-ball as well as they probably would have expected to be hovering just above 30% for the season as a team, both of them. Some of the players you've got out there, you should be like, there are players out there who should be carrying your team to better 3-point percentages for games, regardless of how everyone else is doing almost.
Yeah. And in the meantime, Maitland have added Matt Gray.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And it'll be interesting to see how Canberra are going to play around with matchups and combinations if Morrison is still out, because even in the last game that we previewed where they lost, we reviewed and the Gunners lost, and there was just some interesting combos where, Teddy was doing really well, but other people were then getting the court time in the clutch, and they were kind of like ended up being exploited a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be some pretty different combinations coming from the Gunners to help compensate for no Morrison.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, probably going to bring it up more than a couple of times, is your rotations get smaller in finals, and it might actually be the best thing for Canberra if they're not playing around with rotations so much. If, they just probably the same for a lot of teams, just lock in and just say, these are our 8, maybe a 9th if we get into foul trouble.
But who's going to be matching up? So matchups in terms of who's going to be guarding, say, your Will Mayfield from Maitland? Is it Billy Parsons? Is it Matt Gray? Is it Milburn? Like, who normally would match up on a Mayfield from this Maitland team?
I think in this Canberra team, I think Billy's probably a position bigger. So, hey, Ben Matthews did the job on Todd Blanchfield.
He did. I'm mostly asking because put Mayfield in the post.
Ooh.
If someone like Glenn's out, so Jacob said Ben, the floor general Matthews may match up on Mayfield. Put Mayfield in the post. You don't have to be a Glenn Morris and a Miles Cherry to play post. Yes, they're ideal and they're great. Anyone though can post up. If someone like a Mayfield has got someone that he has advantage over, size, put him in the post. Go to work.
There we go.
It's my hot take.
He's a tradie. He knows how to work.
Exactly. He's got the tools ready. So yeah, that one's going to be amazing. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to overtime. It's a big call.
Yeah, after what James did at Hornsby a few weeks ago, I'm scarred for life over people calling overtime before a game.
Oh yeah, maybe not. Maybe that's way too early. Way too early. I'm very conscious of doing it too early. But any more notes on Canberra Maitland before we talk about the last matchup?
No, I think that's just about covered it. As you said, it's the game of the week just above the one that we're about to preview, for the reason you said, especially the fact it's an elimination final. Just these two teams, they would be absolutely hating the fact they're even in a position to go home after week 1 of the finals.
Yep. Yeah. 100%. There's just so much more story and narrative and history with these two teams in this still young league that you cannot ignore that they are in an elimination final together. Like, amazing. But yeah, so the last of the 4 finals this weekend in the men's competition is another qualifying final. Second place, Norths Bears, and third place, Sutherland Sharks. Haven't they just swam to the top in the back end of the season?
9 wins on the trot.
Wow. They're going to make it 10?
Well, they beat North on the weekend.
Yeah, so this is really interesting. They're also North and Sutherland have only played each other once this season, right? And it was literally last week.
No. Did they not play each other earlier? North Sutherland? Yeah, North beat us. North beat us way early, really early in the season. I think maybe the same week as this Canberra Maitland game. Well, that's funny. And yeah, before before we had Tyler Robertson. I think Spurgeon was just back. Sean was back, but yeah, not a full roster for. I'm not sure even North. Did Norse have everyone?
yeah.
They might have just had Krislovic. I'm not sure.
Sorry that you did. They did play each other in round 13. So my whole theory of like everyone's only played each other once is now at only 50%.
So it's the opposite of last year where there were lots.
Yes. So yes, so they did play each
so...
other in round 3, and Norths won at home 83-73. Sutherland won the first quarter though 14-22, and then North stormed back in the third, winning 29-17. North had Iggy Mitchell, Matty Waiter, Lockie Boffinger, Bailey Hansen, Weinstein, Krislovic, and all of the regular players. And Sutherland had Cabrera, Hutchinson, Abbott, Spurgeon, MacArthur, and all the other regulars, all your classic hits.
So just everyone except Tyler Robertson basically at that stage.
Yeah, Spurgeon had 21 and 18 in this game in round 3. Iggy Mitchell had 20 and 6. Boffinger had 28, 9 and 2, and Bailey Hansen had 15, 12 and 4. That kid, amazing.
Yeah.
So then it kind of turns around a little bit to when they played last week, right? Which was both teams had different rosters, and Sharkies won by 1.
They did. It was the story of North can't hit a 3 versus Sutherland. Please stop turning the ball over.
Oh my word. 19 turnovers from the Sharks.
Yeah.
What's going on there? That's unlike them.
Yeah. But North couldn't hit a 3 to save themselves. They were 1 of 23 from 3-point range at some stage, I think was the number. They finished 7 of 37. And Sutherland were 1 of 16, which is highly unusual when you've got Harrison Rayner on the lineup. That is one thing also that has changed. I mean, he only had 2 points in that game against Norse, but he played like 5 minutes in that first matchup, and now he is starting alongside Lachlan Hutchison. It took Sutherland a few weeks to get the whole Hutchison-Rayner in the starting lineup dynamic working, but now it is. And Rayner's shooting 50% from 3-point land for the season. He is...
Very nice.
Look, I said it last week. I'll say it again. He might be my favorite player on that Sutherland men's roster, Harrison Rayner.
That's a big call from you, Mr. 150. That's a big call. I like that. I like that a lot.
I love the way he plays, but so I mean, it looks. I mean, the defenses were both very good last week. I will say that, but also the shooting from North, like neither team is going to be able to rely on the same thing to happen again that happened in this game. If they want to come away with the win, there's no way Sutherland can come out, they can be like, okay, we got the win in spite of getting 19 turnovers because, the opposition shot absolutely terribly. And also North aren't going to be able to, rely on Sutherland coughing the ball up for fun again. So I think we'll probably see a higher scoring matchup. I think it'll be close again. Sutherland are 11-1 since Tyler Robertson arrived.
Robbo, turn it up.
Yeah.
Big fan.
Yeah, and he was 10 of 11 at the line the other night as well. And had the assist for the game winner.
Nice. Love that.
It was a beautiful play as well. But what I find interesting about this matchup is Krislovic and Spurgeon, the two big men. You've got two big men who both love to step out and shoot the 3.
Mm-hmm.
Krislovic shoots more 3s than anyone on the North roster. And Spurgeon is, apart from Robertson, who shoots like 9, he's around there with Hutchison and Rayner shooting around 3.5, 4 a game as well. So very interesting to see these big men sort of go at each other, but not quite, because they're, always stepping out to, or not always stepping out, but kind of regularly stepping out and making themselves an option on the perimeter.
That's kind of cool then for Norse. If they can have, say, Krislovic and Goodrick on at the same time, switching between who's playing 4, who's playing 5, and then if Krislovic keeps stretching to the 4, that might, if he hits a couple, that's going to draw out the defense, maybe free up Goodrick a little bit, or having the defense to decide, do we go and help on Goodrick? Do we go down and help out? Or do we go out and get Krislovic? That could be really fun kind of dynamic to play with those two on the court at the same time.
Yeah, and he was 3 of 6 from 3-point range on the weekend. So, and I don't know what's Spurgeon's. Spurgeon was he was 0 of 3 from 3-point range, but 3 of 4 from closer to the basket. But I mean, as we said, Sutherland shot 1 of 16 as a team, so it wasn't exactly Spurgeon's fault by himself that they didn't shoot the 3 ball well.
They were 20 from 24 though from the free throw line, and Tyler Robertson had 11 of those 24 attempts. So I was going to ask how much. I do notice that 4 primary players for Norse men last round were in foul trouble, in Mitchell, Swakala Bullock, Boffinger, and Goodrick. Did that have much of an impact on the game or the way that Norse could go about the business?
Yeah, it did a little bit. Late on, Iggy picked up his not late on, but I think it was early in the 4th. Iggy picked up his 4th. They sent Boffinger back out with 3, and then Boffinger got his 4th not long after. So then they sort of had to pick, do we turn out Iggy with 4 or Lockie with 4? And they chose Iggy. And yeah, so it did have a little bit of an impact. The guys on 3 fouls, it wasn't too much of an issue, but it definitely had an impact, especially on Lockie's playing time. And he only played around 20 minutes in the end, so it did have a little bit of an impact. I mean, it always does. I don't think it wasn't a game changer or anything like that. I mean, especially the fact you've got Hunter Goodrick there on the bench, who will easily play. Is basically like having a six starter anyway there. And Bailey Hansen, I mean, he was playing 25 minutes earlier in the season. He played 12. Bailey, and even at his age, is already a reliable option if things go a bit pear-shaped for them.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
You've got a team where a guy like Robbie Moore is playing 4 minutes.
Yeah, that's
so they've got depth.
Yeah, they definitely have depth.
Yeah.
They've always essentially had depth. And I noticed Indiana Faithful was coaching the Norsemen while Tom was away. I had no idea that he was in the coaching world.
Yeah, so he and former Sutherland Sharks junior coach Jaden Gibbison are the 2 assistants. And Jaden likes to tell me that Indy was away for their game against Canberra. So Jaden is 1-0 as an NBL 1 head coach. So congratulations, Jaden, on your head coaching debut and win the other week against Canberra.
Love that. Good for him.
Not a bad basketball mind to have step in when your head coach is away winning a bronze medal.
Yeah, a World Cup bronze medal. But yeah, I understand as well, on paper, this is going to be another really great game of the 4, because you've got this is probably the game that has the most NBL talent of all of the matchups in terms of current experience or previous experience. I mean, even looking at the Sharks roster, obviously you've got Hutchison, Robertson, Spurgeon, James Hunter, Lucas Walker,
and Luke Jamison.
Tom Gleeson popping up and doing a set. That's interesting.
Nothing sus about that.
Nothing sus about that.
He actually can we get back to Tommy just for a second, because he actually made his NBL 1 debut against Penrith the previous night and got his first points, splashed a 3 for his first points as well. So shout out to Tommy Gleeson. He won an award last year for the senior
Gold
program,
Logie?
even though he did. Thanks. Even though he didn't actually get on court because Sean Rogers said he was just a sponge. He was so like do you need extra players to train? Do you need someone to travel with the team? What can I do to, be more involved to get a spot on this roster? He was just like, anything I got to do to get in this NBL 1 roster, I will do. So he actually got an award last year before even touching the court. And this year he finally got to make his debut. Because he has suited up a few times.
That's awesome. Great attitude to have. And then obviously the NBL talent for North, you got Iggy Mitchell, Wani Swakala Bullock, Krislovich, Goodrick. Bailey Hansen will play NBL one day.
Yeah.
Boffinger,
he can't be far away, can he?
Can't be far away. He's definitely of caliber. So on paper, and in terms of that, obviously this is a really, really good matchup. But compared to the matchup between Gunners and Maitland in terms of history, what's at stake, likes for likes, still a great matchup, but each team will have, the loser of this North Sutherland matchup will have a second bite at the cherry and the other going straight through. So another great game, but I'm happy to watch that one on replay.
Maitland only got one bite at the cherry.
Woohoo! Episode title. All right. Any more notes on the Norsemen, Sutherland Sharksmen match qualifying final before we move on to the women?
No, not on the match, but it's going to be an electric night because North have got home games at both. So if you can get down to it, I would highly suggest doing so.
Yeah, we get so spoiled that we get to watch such high caliber basketball literally in our backyard. NBL talent, WNBL talent, players who have had experience playing for Australia. And you can just go down and get yourself a bucket of chippies and some nuggets and enjoy the show.
100%.
What's not to like?
Exactly.
All right, so moving on to the women's competition, exact same format. We have in first place with a win-loss record of 22-0 is the North Bears, obviously placed in first position, and they're going to play the COE, who placed fourth. So probably two teams where we're kind of a bit disappointed that they're playing each other early, but it is a qualifying final. So the loser will obviously have the second chance.
Yeah.
Now, I have written down that they've only played each other once in round 8, so I'm hoping that's correct.
That is 100% correct.
Cool. And the result from that round 8 game was surprising. Not surprising that North won, but by the margin. They won 92-66.
Yeah, that was surprising. Yeah, I know North have been smacking a lot of teams around, but that's a fellow top 4 team. So yeah.
So that was surprising. The first quarter of that game, though, North came out and blitzed at 25-9. And essentially, COE had a tough time, understandably, trying to get that deficit back. I think in the second quarter, they did come back and win 18-28. So they certainly started to kick into gear early, but just wasn't enough.
No, North just, fairly took them apart after halftime. What a 49-29 second half. That's pretty dominant.
Yeah. This is a game where Jazz Shelley had 32 points, 5 rebounds, 10 assists, shooting at 50% overall from the field, including 6 from 12 threes and 100% from the free throw line. Woo! Hell of a game against someone like COE. Caitlin Martin had 16, 2 and 4. Emma Donnelly had 11, 6 and 2. And Brugler had 14 and 13, and she shot at 46% overall. But the shooting percentage overall for North was pretty good. 46% overall, but you had the likes of Shelley shooting at 50%, Peggy Shell shot at 80%, Caitlin Martin had 16 points at 50%. Donnelly had 11 points at 50%. So pretty impressive.
Oh, yeah. And what I found most interesting about this game was the incredibly low free throw count.
Yeah, you're right. 11 for Norse, and they were 11 from 11. And COE only got to the line 7 times.
Yeah. I mean, COE don't get to the COE average this season only 13 free throws per game, but still 7's, even half of that. And Norse, they average more makes than 11 per game. They average 17.3 free throw attempts per game. So, yeah, both teams are. I imagine like these teams, well, we just watched Olivia Oleknovich win Defensive Player of the Tournament, and you've got players like Izzy Morgan out there playing defense. These are players that play really good defense without fouling. So I guess if anything, I would have expected the offensive firepower to be drawing more fouls than the defenses straight up just committing, playing bad defense. I just thought that, between these two teams, the offenses would, find their way to the free throw line more, but it didn't transpire that way.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's what I would have expected as well, is that, that both teams have still got great scorers, can play under with physicality and would still get to the rack. But I think the defense, it just looks statistically was just better.
Mm. Yeah, 100%. And also Norse did attempt, and why not, 15 of 33 from 3-point range. So had no troubles knocking them down from deep. So, I mean, you're not going to draw many fouls, but they're still getting plenty of scoring done there. 6 of 12 for Shelley, 4 of 8 for Martin, and Donnelly 3 of 4. So, interesting. But
I think the other thing that stuck out for me, though, we're just talking about expecting COE to get to the free throw line more, but perhaps just better defense. They still had 44 of their 66 points were still from the paint. So they're still getting to the rack really well. The likes of Isabel Smith had 22 and 5. Oleknovich had 13, 3, 2 and 3. Everyone else, Antisevich, I already said that wrong. She had 12 and 7. And Tisevich had 12 and 7, I should say. Zara Russell had a quiet game, but she's gone to college now, so she won't be around for the next one.
Yeah. And there was no Jemima Maniok for COE in this game. So
yeah, I expect her to be back.
And that'll be a bit of a game changer.
Yeah, definitely.
Just the height. I mean, she is still a bit raw, but she is the height alone just makes such a massive difference, especially like in this COE team. These COE teams are usually pretty big, like position for position, but that's just outright size.
Oh yeah, totally. So she'll be back, and a lot of this roster that will be back also will have that World Cup experience under their belt. And I imagine that now facing this same North team for a second time after the teams that they got to face at the World Cup, they will be feeling a lot more confident with what they can do in terms of managing North's very tough defense, very mature type defense. I think COE are going to be way more confident because they had to play Spain in the semi-final, and Spain had them locked down in that semi-final.
I mean, they scored 51 in that semi-final?
Yeah, it was a pretty low-scoring semi-final. I think it was probably the worst shooting performance of the Sapphires of the tournament. But Spain's defense was just so good. So, but I imagine that now that those COE players coming back have faced that, it's going to be very relative and transferable to this game against North.
And hey, there's a lot to be said for going in somewhere and having done something before, which is exactly what a lot of players on this COE team did in the preliminary final last year. Beat North.
That is correct. Of this roster that we'll see on the weekend, how many, though, of this roster were there for that game last season?
Krace, Aleknovic, Smith, Maniok were all there. Russell, but now she's gone. So that's the point. May not be the quantity, but the players that are there that did it. Because Aleknovic and Smith and Krace were big parts last year, and they're going to be big parts this year.
Yeah. So that is that's going to be exciting. So yeah, that would be a good matchup. I think that's pretty much all the notes I have on that one. Have you got anything else to add before we move on?
I think we can just about move on. Interesting. Because I'm loving pace at the moment, because I think it speaks to team styles, is both these teams amongst the slowest pace in the league, 13th and 14th.
Really?
Apparently, according to the stats we've been given by the Scout Builder. Yeah.
Oh, actually, no, that makes sense. I mean, because I feel that Norsewomen in particular, and I'll mostly comment on them because I have watched more of their games than CLP. Sorry. That they will push when they can, but they still play with pace in the half in terms of 2 feet in the paint, like drive, dish, kick, their ball movement. That is still played with pace, but that's not how pace is measured in those stats. So that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. They move the ball quickly, but they'll take their time finding a shot, kind of thing.
Yeah. It's not just playing with pace in terms of stops and run, making layups all the time.
Which they did to Sutherland last week, and it was unfortunately very pretty to watch.
Very interesting that those about that. But yeah, the next matchup, the first elimination final, is between 5th place Albury Wodonga Bandits and the 8th place Hornsby Ku-ring-gai Spiders. So I do remember on the record saying that I thought Spiders were going to be edged out, but here they are. So that's great that they made it in 8th, because gee whiz, between Hills, Hornsby and Maitland to fight for those last few spots was intense. And it's really like, you got to feel for Maitland missing out, because they went on to beat Newcastle at home.
Yeah.
And then they still missed out. And
they led Bankstown at a time. They were right in it.
Yeah.
And lost by 9 in the end. Yeah, they were right there.
Because, they ended up on 9th. They had the same win-loss record as Hornsby. They had a better points percentage, but I'm guessing it came down to
the split, which Hornsby won. It came down to the overtime win Hornsby had against Maitland. That game goes the other way. Maitland are in, Hornsby are out.
That's when your season comes down to that. Oh, that stresses me out.
Yeah.
Poor Maitland. At least they got to finish on the high of beating Newcastle.
That's true. Hey, you picked that. You said Maitland could beat Newcastle.
Did I?
Yeah.
Ah, sick. That's good. Then I'll take that. I didn't remember that bit. But yeah, so Albury and Hornsby, first elimination final. They're going to play down in the Hideout. They've only played each other once this season, and that was in round 12. And by then, the likes of Perkins, Lucy Mead, and Jessie May Hall had already left for college. So, and last year, Poa had already joined the Bandits. So at least the rosters that have played in round 12 are going to be similar rosters to now. There's not going to be too much change or too much for Hornsby especially to have to adapt to.
Yeah.
In that round 12 game, Unique Thompson had 27 points, 10 rebounds, and last year Poa had 13 points, 12 rebounds, 12 assists. Whereas Ayana Bay for Hornsby had 23 points, 18 rebounds, and 3 assists. But Christina Moore was held to only 3 points.
Yeah, and she was 1 of 10 from the field as well, which is highly irregular.
Yes. So obvious, and I had a question. Where's Nicole Hutchinson?
I have no idea where Hutch is.
I'm not sure if I was just late on the uptake, but has she not been playing the last few rounds? Like, because she definitely didn't play round 12 in this game.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if I've missed something there, or if she's injured, or
James, we know you're
what's going on.
watching. Message us.
I did message him to ask before the show, but he's booked and busy.
Oh, I think he played. Yeah, he played social comp on Tuesday.
He does. That's right.
He actually took a night on social comp to come on the pod last week.
Yeah, bless him. That's very, very nice of him.
Mm.
So yeah, Hutch at least would be able to disrupt Unique under the basket a little bit in terms of strength and size. And Hutch is also foul prone, so Unique would probably draw quite a few fouls, but sometimes it's enough just to rattle someone a little bit.
Mm.
But yeah, in that last game, Albury had 40 of their 86 points inside the paint. Each team surprisingly had 49 rebounds apiece, but they both shot not so great from the 3-point line. Albury shot 24% and Hornsby shot 29%. And the quarters didn't seem like there were any blowout quarters, despite Albury winning 86-62. I think it was just incrementally just working on what they had and chipping away at it. So perhaps it was one of those games where the score didn't always reflect the quality of the game.
Yeah. I mean, now that you've got last tip power in there, you've just got, like, they've got such a settled lineup now. I feel the Albury Wodonga Bandits. They've just got, players who can play their role really well. And I think that's probably what we're going to see more of from them, just incrementally chipping away at things, which we've kind of seen from Albury Wodonga over the years when, aside from when they've been absolutely, dismantling teams in previous seasons. It feels like that's been how they've won games. It's just getting through things, getting things done, chipping away, and before you realize you're down 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just can happen so quick. And now LT, we did see, I'm not sure, you may have seen it on someone's Instagram story from Albury, but Unique was carrying LT off the court in one of the last home games with an injury. So she may be a question mark for the weekend. I'm pretty confident that with the Bandits' depth of bench, actually, having said that, are they still going to have McCowan? Because I know McCowan is committed to
27.
St. Mary's, but it's 27. Okay, that's
pretty
good.
Sure it's 27.
So at least the Bandits have started a really great season without LTs. They've already got that foundation in their younger players, in their bench players, to be able to fill the gap for someone if LT perhaps doesn't suit up this weekend. If she does, great. But if she plays limited minutes, I wouldn't be surprised if she plays limited minutes or doesn't play at all, knowing that the Bandits are confident with winning this one.
Yeah. I mean, they are 6-1 with her in the lineup, though. So, and Hornsby Karingai, they were 9-5 with Ruby Perkins. So they were 7-2 with Jessie May, with Jessie May and Ruby together. Then they were 2-3 with Ruby but no Jessie May, and then 1-5 without either of them. So, I mean, I even without LT, I would be more confident in Albury Wodonga getting the win, but it's going to be, it does make it more difficult. But man, I just want Sammy Mack to get a finals win as a head coach.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Sorry, Hornsby, but I just wanted it to happen.
You're right. I'm pretty sure he would agree with you there.
I'm yeah.
Yes. So that's a good point. Sammy Mack is due for his first finals win. But we also have to say that Shaq Shura has. He's probably. I mean, it's interesting if you want to talk about Coach of the Year. Renee's Bears have gone undefeated. similar to what Sammy Mack did, however, like 2 seasons ago, but didn't get Coach of the Year. Shaq Shora, first time as head coach in the NBL 1, recruits a hell of a team, able to bring out the best of all of those players, including the players who were already at Hornsby the last 2 seasons. That's also, for me, a Coach of the Year.
Yeah. And, I mean, I always talk about when you talk, like, people go, oh, yeah, but the coach had a super team. It's like, well, what do you think Jazz Shelley just rocked up to North? The reason, like, if Renee wasn't there, do you think she's just rolling into North? Hell no.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's the same with, when Sammy Mack recruited obviously LJ local, but, the players he's recruited over the years, 20-0.
Yeah.
They're just rolling in because they want to hang out on the banks of the Murray for 5 months? No.
Yeah, want to go down to Sweethearts for a piece of late night pizza.
And it's the same with Shaq. Like, yeah, he had the relationship with some of these players, like Ruby from Youth League, and he was able to recruit, with some contacts around the way, Leia Hartman. Yeah. So, but bring Christina Moore home, keep Ayana Bay. Like, recruiting is part of coaching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. I think it's the one part that we forget about.
Yeah. Like, you think Gina Oriema and Dawn Staley aren't great recruiters?
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, any final thoughts on that one?
I mean, I'm interested to, like, throughout how things, just Hornsby, I'm just constantly interested in how the point guard role is filled. Because in the last time they played, it was Jolene Impresso. I think, the last time they played Aubrey Wodonga, it was Jolene Impresso. Then last week, I think Nicholas Sainsbury came into the lineup. She came off the bench and had 12 points the last time they played Aubrey Wodonga, though. So, who plays the point guard, whether it's a bit by committee, just how it all pans out in the backcourt is just going to be, whether this is their final game of the season, whether they roll into week 2, that's going to be the one question mark throughout, because there are some elite backcourts throughout this league. And, I mean, you win this and you play either North or COE. So you're either got to face someone like Izzy Morgan for North if they somehow lose, or someone like Aleknovich. There's going to be a really elite defender who's going to be making it hard for you to get it over half court. So Godspeed, Hornsby Kareem Guy Spiders.
Yep.
It's great. It's funny though. Like, the Spiders are totally playing with house money here. They knew what they had. Get Ruby in, get Jessie May back, gather all the wins you can get until they leave for college, and hang on. And they've hung on, and now they can just play without pressure. I don't know if that's how they feel, but they've definitely got less pressure on them than the Aubrey Wodonga Bandits.
Correct. Totally agree. So the next matchup in the second elimination final is Newcastle Falcons and the Hills Hornets. For some, perhaps maybe a matchup I didn't anticipate, because I think I'm so used to Newcastle not being in I'm so used to Newcastle being in a qualifying final and not an elimination final.
Legit.
So this is probably a position that Newcastle haven't seen themselves in before for a while, probably since the inaugural season, I think. But again, based on my research, which, as we have discovered during the episode, was a little bit flawed, but these teams have also only played each other once, but in round 1. Yeah,
it was a very, very long time ago. And I'm just looking, I don't think Newcastle have ever finished in an elimination. Oh, sorry. Season 1 when it was 16 finals. So that was the only time their week 1 final has been a knockout. The 76-60, and I'm just like, my first notes are no Cherie or Piper for Hills versus no me or Heidi for Newcastle.
Yeah.
What do you want us to say about this game?
And of the teams in the women's competition right now, I think Hills are the ones that are peaking at the right moment.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, it's like they're 8-5 since Piper Anderson came in after starting the season 3-4. So, and the way that team's just all gelled together, and now you bring Kennedy Johnson off the bench if the situation so determines it. It's they're sneaky good.
They are sneaky good. Newcastle certainly can't be taking this game lightly. Newcastle, however, when I saw them play against Crewe, I know that Crewe obviously second to the bottom of the ladder, but still just an absolute clinic. Because sometimes when you're a top team playing against a team closer to the bottom of the ladder, it's easy to get caught up in their style of play. But Newcastle were just on a mission, clinic, beautiful to watch. So they can't take this game lightly against Hills and rest on any of those laurels or any of the laurels that is Nicole Munger.
Yeah.
But Kirisomi is just coming into her own at the right time. Anderson and Shez, we know, are besties off court, and their chemistry is starting to really click on court. And just being able to balance Shez and Jade Kirisomi, because they are similar, where they could both be the number one kind of top dog point guard. But when you have them playing off each other, or just having Shez primarily be the PG and let Jade be more of a shooting guard, and then you've got Piper being the small forward, that's looking pretty good to me. But like I think we said in the game review we did for Hills a couple of weeks ago, Pajelko for me, another textbook center. Her matchup against Heidi and or Jefferson, I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, the defensive matchups that Hills come out with is what really interests me here. First up, the first port of call is, who do you put on Munger?
Kirisomi.
That was immediately my thought, was Kirisomi. And then, so you'd have Heidi and Bielko on Heidi and Ella Gale on Meg Jefferson.
Yeah. Oh, well, do we know if Ella Gale's okay?
She played in the final week of the season.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Ella Gale and Meg Jefferson. I think because also that game between Crewe and Newey, Meg Jefferson diversifying her game, really been working on her handles, showed off some guard skills, got a couple of baskets, from the wing rather than her, from a pick and roll type stuff under the rim. So I think now people have to be more conscious of who they're going to put on Meg, because now that she's able to flex some of those guard skills, they're going to have to find someone a little bit more diverse defensively that can do both.
Well, I mean, if it's Kirisomi on Munger and Bielko and Heidi, your options are Kalea, Anderson, or Gale. It'd
have to be Gale. I think Gale's got more experience playing inside compared to Anderson.
Yeah, 100%, and probably take the physicality better. I mean, Anderson will get up and down floor really quickly and stay in front, but when it comes time to bang in the paint, I'd rather have Gale there.
Yeah, and Shez will give it a red hot go, but I think she'll just be outsized.
Yeah, so then that'd leave Kingham versus Kalea and Anderson. I think Waihape Andrews has been the other starter for Newcastle. So
yeah, I think that's pretty good actually. I think especially Kalea on Kingham. Kingham we know is a 3-point shooter. She still hesitates to drive more. I think Kingham can still add that more to her game. I know that she can do it. Plus, if she gets fouled, she's making free throws.
Yes,
but I think Shez won't let Kingham hit a three in her face.
No,
and she's all, as we know, Kalea is very good at guarding the ball full court. So I think the drive will be covered. So Kalea is able to afford to close out long on Kingham to limit those 3-point opportunities, knowing that she'll have a drive covered.
Yeah, and then I guess first off the bench, Brennan and Kennedy Johnson as first off the bench options. That is That is luxury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brennan, so underrated.
Oh, everywhere except here. Not here, and not in Newcastle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Said it on the call as well down at Crew, where I'm like, probably one of the most underrated players in the women's competition.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so she's super solid. I just wonder as well, like, depth-wise, they're pretty similar.
Yeah, they don't.
Newcastle, like, usually have quite a bit of depth, but they've got some even more younger players now coming through.
Yeah, and I mean, the question mark is Saffron Shields' eligibility, availability. Is she playing?
Oh, of course. I always forget because she didn't suit up against Crew, but I think her name was on the sheet.
Yeah. So.
So yeah, is she gonna pull up?
Yeah. That throws everything, because I guess she'd slot in there. Oh, she'd probably come off the bench, but
yeah,
you take that 5 and probably slot her in for Waihape Andrews, and then.
And if there's a reason for her, if there's any time for her to now pull up, it's now. It's
yeah. Isn't that the whole point of like bringing someone in late is to have them for finals? So yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I forgot about that. The twist.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I think that game's going to be a lot closer than what people think.
Yeah. Interestingly, one stat I found was Munga is scoring 17.9 per game in wins and 23.6 in losses. And Jefferson is almost steady, 17 points per game in wins, 17 points per game in losses. Kingham and Heidi almost only score half as much in losses as they do in wins. So Kingham drops from 17 to 9. Heidi drops from 15 to 8.5. So it's when Munga and Jefferson aren't getting scoring support from others that Newcastle have been dropping games.
Wow, that is so interesting. You were coming up with some nuggets today.
Hoops DB. I love Hoops DB.
Oh yeah, that is the absolute savior of the league, that website. Yeah, that's some really great nuggets you got there. Thank you for your outstanding preparation, but we expect nothing less. But yeah, any more thoughts before we get into the last one?
I think like you, I think it's going to be real close. Newcastle dropped a game to Maitland last week, and Hills are flying.
Hills are flying. I think on the plus side is that the game's at Newcastle.
Yeah, Broadmeadow is going to be, or Broadmeadow, sorry, is going to be absolutely jumping.
Yeah. I think you would need to line up early in the morning to get your seat for the game at night. Like, it's going to be pumping.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, that one's going to be certainly a lot closer than I think people are expecting. And I think the last matchup we have is the other qualifying final between Manly Warringah Seagulls and the Bankstown Bruins. So these two teams have met twice before in the regular season. Once in round 6, which is a game that we reviewed as our EGG game of the week, where Bruins demolished Manly 82-65 when they put on that defensive clinic. I was going to do a reel or two about that defense, and I reached out to Coach Curtin and said, hey, what are you playing here? And then she respectfully chose to keep her cards close to her chest. And I was like, you know what? Fair enough.
Yeah.
And then I just got too busy to post anything, so it kind of worked out. But in that game that we reviewed, Bruins had 4 scorers in double digits. Heel had 18 points, 3 rebounds, 10 assists. Alex Delaney for Manly had 21 and 11. Manly shot at only 28.95% from the field overall and 33% from the 3, which was unheard of from them. Bruins had 23 assists as a team, and obviously Shiloh having 10 of those 26. So that was the one where we were like, okay, Bruins put the league on notice.
Yeah. I mean, they were up
but
by
then Manly,
30.
but then
Sorry, they were up by 31 at one point in that game. That was just
yeah,
yeah.
we're like, what is going to happen? How are they going to come back from this?
Yeah.
And understandably, they did it because Bankstown just played a hell of a game.
Mm.
But then Manly, to their credit, in Manly fashion, their revenge was sweet because they came back in round 12 and won 93-56. So not only did they win, but they won by a bigger margin and they scored more points.
Yeah, they dominated throughout. It was, I mean, there was talk that Bankstown kind of put the cue in the rack early on, but I don't think it matters. You realize you've got it, the rest of the season sorted, but I don't know.
No.
Does it matter? I mean, it's not like they sat everyone for extended minutes. So yeah. Anyway, yes, I mean, 30 to 12 first quarter. Bankstown shot 25% from 2-point range in that second game, or 26%, sorry, from 2-point range. Whereas, I mean, Manly Warringah were all but unstoppable, up around 60%. And Alex Delaney, 11 of 12 free throws in that second game. And the team 27. They had revenge on their mind.
Yeah, they were 24 from 27 from the free throw line, so a healthy 89% for Manly. They had 17 fast break points. They had Delaney on 19 and 10 and 5. Zari Mowbray on 16 and 5. She had 4 from 6 from the 3-point line. And Zoe Miller had 15, 3 and 5. What I thought was really interesting, though, in terms of how we talked about Bankstown completely locking down on defense against Manly in that round 6 match. Round 12, we talked about obviously Manly won, but they kept Heel, Dale, and Tupaia. They kept them, all of them, to 8 points and 5 rebounds each.
I love the stat is great in the work they did. I just love that it's identical for all three.
Identical.
Like they played such good defense that they forced them all to do exactly the same thing. They weren't able to control them that much.
You only get this much, you only get this much, and you only get this much, and that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, in that first quarter where it was 30-12, Manly had 3 threes, 8 twos, and the rest, I guess, were free throws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
80%, 8 of 10 from 2-point land in the first quarter. Wow.
Yeah. And every Bruin scored in that round 12 game except for Davis White.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. They were 27% overall from the field. Bankstown, Manly, 47% overall. But Bruins, because everyone got on the score sheet bar Davis White, 30 of their 56 points were actually from the bench.
Oh, that's a healthy number.
Yeah. So I can see why some people thought that maybe the cue is in the rack, as you say, for Bruins, where they didn't necessarily need to win. Maybe it was an opportunity for the Bruins bench to come in and get some reps up in prep for finals. But I don't see Lauren Curtin coaching that way.
No.
I don't see that would be her style. Her style would be, we always play our best. Especially against tough competition, and that's still going to be the best preparation for a final.
Yeah, 100%. Especially, this is a team you're going to have to face somewhere down the line. And at the very
and here we are.
Yeah. I don't know that the split was in play, because I think if Manly won that, they probably wouldn't have been able to. It would have been very difficult for Bankstown to catch them after that. But you'd still.
I think they just wanted to pay back.
Yeah.
I don't think
now they got to do it again.
For and against.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at least they get it at home as well. So yeah, that's going to be super interesting. I think of these 4 matchups, the likes of North and COE again will be really great game of basketball given the level of talent from both teams. And like you said, COE have the experience of beating North in a finals matchup. Love seeing Hills making their NBL 1 East finals debut. They're peaking. but they're playing away against Newcastle, so definitely see that as a good matchup. And also this Manly Bankstown game, a lot riding on it, but also a qualifying final, so each team can have a second bite of the cherry, as we say, a second chance. Of these 4 games, again, I feel like if I had to pick one, I think I'd pick the Newcastle Hills game because it is one of the first times in a while Newcastle's had to be in an elimination final, because Hills are peaking and the matchups are going to be quite consistent. And Newcastle will have the 6 man of the home court advantage. I think that would be the one that I'm tossing up between that and the Manly Bankstown game. Well, maybe because Manly Bankstown is qualifying.
Yeah, and also that Newcastle Hills game was so long ago as well.
Yeah,
it's completely different. There's been so many players come in for both. Well, at the moment, but big pieces like Mia Heidi, and then is one piece, but a very big piece, and then Piper and Cherie. So, yeah. Also, on the Manly game, have you seen Josie Redan's hand?
No. What happened?
It is in the bandage. Oh, she posted a story with one finger was black and bent, and then she's posted pictures of her hand in a giant bandage. So, yeah, did not look good.
I see. I can see.
Kind of need hands to play basketball.
It's a shooting hand too.
Oh, damn.
Oh, no. Well, she's still getting around the gym, though, it looks like. So that's good. She's staying fit. Something. Oh, and I was like, what's happening here about untrained limb during periods of immobilization? Oh, okay. So that's just a very well kind of educated thing she's doing there. Yeah, so that is a question mark there. Her most recent post from 4 hours ago was just injuries suck, but as an S&C coach, I love the challenge of problem solving and figuring it out. If you're dealing with an injury, it doesn't automatically mean your training has to stop. But no real comment on said injury. And then Eric on the mic from CEO Norse, he's commented on it just with a question mark.
Yeah.
So yeah, will she be pulling an Alicia Froling and just playing with her left hand?
Well, I
wouldn't
mean,
put it past her.
True. I mean, if she can't play, Kim Dickinson into the starting lineup, not exactly the worst worst player to bring in, but it does affect your depth, obviously.
Yeah, and I think Dickinson will just have to play more minutes than what she has been throughout the regular season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's a tough one. If you had to pick one game to watch, what are you picking?
I'd probably go Newcastle Hills as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the jeopardy of the elimination final at that big stadium with a big, it's going to be a big crowd. They always get like Nicole Munger could run for mayor in Newcastle.
And you know what? She should.
Yeah. Maybe then they finally get the new stadium built.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the elimination final part of it. Same with Canberra Maitland in the Manly Bankstown. Like, it's going to fall somewhere between the two results that they've already had. It's going to be a lot. It should be a lot closer, but yeah, I just, you gotta love it. I love a do or die game.
Yeah, especially as a fan, not so much as a player for me. Could handle the pressure. Yeah, so we are spoilt with great basketball again in NBL 1 East. Lots of stories and narratives as well coming from each matchup, whether it's the star-studded lineups of WNBL and NBL talent, future professional talent, or homegrown heroes doing it tough, getting to the final 8 for the first time in the Crewmen and the Hills women and the Hornsby women. And let's see. And finals basketball is different to regular season basketball. There's always something, that magic in the air.
Yeah.
So who knows what's going to happen? So there's lots to look forward to.
It certainly is.
But yeah, otherwise, all we can do now is watch and come back again next week and talk about the next round and then this round's results.
Yeah, good.
How good. Do you have any games this weekend commentating?
No, so I'll have, if Sutherland lose this weekend, I'll be on next weekend because we'll host week 2. Or if we win against North, then we get the week off and we'll host in week 3. So I have one more game this season in NBL 1 East. No idea if it's next week or the week after that. I'm actually running the Harbour 5K this Sunday. So
good for you.
Yes.
And all of our a lot of our NBL 1 North finals are North.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, you got Cairns, obviously, won regular season and then, so.
It's like Cairns and Townsville and Mackay and all up there.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So after commentating what feels like 50 games in the last 3 weeks, I think I may also be having a weekend off.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think this weekend for us, no, that's all backwards. I don't know if you noticed this too, but on the NBL 1 website, when they've now listed the finals, it's backwards. They fixed it now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So for us, we've got qualifying finals up in the north this weekend. We've got Townsville hosting the Southern District Spartans for the women. The men is Logan and Mackay. And then Sunshine Coast and Ipswich Force. So that's relatively local. But then for women's, again, it's Mackay and Northside Wizards. So no games for me.
Logan and Northside, 2 clubs I have been to. The only 2 NBL 1 North clubs I've been to.
So we'll see what happens up there. So we're going to enjoy a weekend off and maybe give our brains and our voices a bit of a rest.
But not our heart rates, because these games are going to be legit.
Yeah, that's right. We'll still be sweating. Yeah. Otherwise, Lockie, I think that's all from me. Have you got anything else that you want to add?
Look, it's pretty much impossible at this stage, but just don't sleep on the East.